DNA fragmentation index, which would be high. But I would probably get patients who have recurrent abortions, patients who have had unexplained infertility, who had a couple of failed IUI cycles, or for that matter, a failed IVF cycle. Go ahead and to get a DFI test done. That's what I think.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, what's your opinion regarding the role of this genetic testing regarding Y microchromosome deletion?
It's a very nice question because a lot of people have a lot of doubts on it. I would normally get a genetic testing done in case the sperm count is less than 5 million or azoospermia. And I would examine the patient before, and in case I feel that the patient's VAS is not palpable, then I would plan a test to see if this patient has CTFR. And for that, I probably would get a genetic testing of the Y term as well, cystic fibrosis.
Yeah.
But otherwise, as far as Y chromosome microdeletion is done, I would get it done in case the count is less than 5.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, there are two questions as this is our live show. So I want to take first their two questions. The one question is by Anjali. She is writing, could obesity be one of the cause or the reason for erectile dysfunction?
Fantastic question. Patanjali, lovely question. I get so many big men, 120 kgs in weight, with sleep apnea, who 100% are going to be, I would say, with erectile dysfunction. And the reason is simple. Most of these men have a low testosterone, and most of these men have a high estrogen because in the fat, this testosterone gets converted to estrogen. And apart from that, these people also have sleep apnea, which is a major cause of erectile dysfunction. So in these patients, you have to tell them that, hey, young man, get rid of this weight, run around, and get an E2 level done of these men, get a testosterone level done of these men. In case the E2 is high, put them on anastrozole, and if the testosterone is very low, put them onto a testosterone gel. But the most important thing is losing weight. And beautiful question.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is one practical scenario. Sir, this question is sent to me by one of my friend. The question is like this: the one patient, age of 32 years, complain of the erectile dysfunction from last 3 months. Patient is the one, she has taken the history. Patient revealed in the history that earlier, from the age of 18 to 25 years, he has done the masturbation around 4 to 6 times per day. But now he is not able to ejaculate too. So, what do you think? What can we do with this patient?
The first thing which we need to do is to explain to these men that masturbation is a normal phenomenon. Whether it is done 1 time or 2 times or 3 times or 4 times, it's a normal phenomenon.
And
This does not lead to impotence. It does not lead to loss of blood. It does not lead to weakness, and it does not lead to low sperm count. First thing. Second, at the time when these men get into their mind that they have done too much of masturbation, either because of a friend telling them, or some quack telling them, or you have the wife telling them, or you have a girlfriend telling them, it at times leads to a psychological problem because of which these people at times have an erectile dysfunction. But anyway, what needs to be done with these men is first of all counseling, and the second is you could give a trial to these people, get the hormones done to see if testosterone is normal, and if the testosterone is normal, then you could give them a trial of sildenafil and see if things are fine.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, in answering of this question, I remember the one of my other patient patient is aged around 45 years. He consulted me in the OPD. Ki, ma'am, I have heard from some doctors that you are treating for the sexual dysfunction also. I was taking, the patient gave me the history that he is taking sildenafil from last 5 years, off and on, aged now 42 years. Earlier, he was very happy with the sildenafil. Now he's saying he has done the Google study. He found the tadalafil on that now, and depoxetine also. So now the person is working in the IT sector. So he has a confusion in mind. Ki now he's think that sildenafil is not working on him. So can he take the tadalafil or can he go for the depoxetine? This patient has brought around 3-4 papers print out to me. Ma'am, see, this is this study, this is this study. So what you can suggest? What will be the line of treatment?
It's very interesting. India is a fantastic country where you can get sildenafil over the counter, tadalafil over the counter, depoxetine over the counter. So at all the, I would say, वो शाम को पान की दुकान होती है ना, तो
Yeah.
पान की दुकान के ऊपर पान के साथ में मैं आपको सच कहूँ तो ये चीज भी सजी होनी चाहिए कि किस चीज का पान खाना है आपको, sildenafil का पान खाना है, tadalafil का पान खाना है, depoxetine के साथ में दूं या क्या दूं. It's crazy. It's crazy because unfortunately these medicines have been used over the counter, not as treatment, but sex enhancers. And this leads to phenomenal confusion in the mind of normal people. What I would like to tell him is that probably if he's fine, he doesn't need any of these drugs. First.
Okay.
The second thing is, if he has a sexual problem, then he needs to consult somebody who could guide him what to take. Because sildenafil has a particular set of patients who need it. Tadalafil has a set of patients who need it. And depoxetine is only needed if you have premature ejaculation. Otherwise, not needed. So that's very important for us to understand.
True, sir. ये गूगल से हाफ एजुकेशन लेकर आ जाते हैं और दिमाग हमारा खा जाते हैं.
Let me tell you one thing what I do with these Google patients.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it will be fantastic because I have a fantastic audience with me.
yeah.
I tell these Google patients, please go and read more. And when they read the side effects, they come so beautifully to me, I can't tell you. And I always tell them, when you go back, read the side effects before you come to me. So when they come back, they listen to you.
Good, a very practical point. We'll keep in mind. Sir, please guide us regarding the role of testosterone for the male infertility treatment. Sir, you are a master of that.
See, I in the morning had a lecture on testosterone.
Yeah.
And in fact, I would be having a series of 4 lectures on that.
Yes.
One for hypogonadism, one for male fertility, one for female sexual and poor responders, and the 4th would be, which I'm planning on, the sexual dysfunction and testosterone.
Okay.
Testosterone in male infertility is not used. You do not use oral, you do not use injectable. You do not use injectable because the peaks and the troughs of the hormone at times lead to oligospermia and azoospermia. So I would not recommend you to use it. The second thing is, the only place in fertility where you would probably use something like clomiphene and anastrozole or HCG, which again are there to improve the testosterone milieu in the testes. Because these testes, if they do not have adequate testosterone, FSH will not produce sperms. So that's the way it is.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, there is one question from Dr. Geeta. She is writing, what is the importance of checking
Warmly
the
welcome
Dr.
Sandwani, and I also would like to really welcome
It's written like this only. What's the importance of checking of acrosomes in semen analysis?
I really cannot check acrosomes in semen.
Yeah, same I was thinking.
So I don't think that I would be able to answer this question.
Yeah. Dr. Geeta, will you please be specified and write your question again? Yeah. So meanwhile, sir, these days we are getting lot of patients. I got one patient, the newly married patient, husband age is 46 years and wife is 34 years. Both are IT clients, IT professionals. And wife told me that they are married from last 2 years. Earlier, the wife is complaining of vaginismus. So she has taken the treatment somewhere. Now she's happy. She's saying, there is no vaginismus. They come to consult to me. According to her, she's saying that husband was earlier able to erect for minimum 5 minutes. Now he is not able to do so. And once we inquire the history from the husband is saying he is totally normal. So how to proceed in these cases?
It's a very nice question. Is he able to masturbate?
Yes. Yes.
See, you know what happens? And I'll tell you this something very interesting. Because I'll give you the answer to it.
Yeah.
These people with vaginismus, normally when they get married and they don't allow the husband to have intercourse, these men stop having intercourse and they do not have, why intercourse? You know why? Because they are not rapists. They love the woman. And they can't give her pain because of their sexual pleasure.
Okay.
So what happens is, these men, after some time, are not able to have intercourse with the woman, even if she wants to allow them, because they feel it would give them pain. So, Dr. Ritu, I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, I got it. Got it. Sir, what's your opinion regarding this penile shockwave therapy? This I've got the question on the Facebook.
Yeah, it's a nice question. See, penile shockwave therapy is used with some results, and it's used. It's used with some results. But you have to give a trial to these people before of sildenafil, tadalafil, and you could even give them a trial to see by injectable, especially a papaverine and prostaglandin solution, to see if they get erections. But shockwave therapy can be used.
Sir, there is one more query on the Facebook only. If the PDE5 inhibitors if fail, how to proceed?
Sorry?
PDE5 inhibitors, if they have failed, how to proceed? What will be the drug of choice in that case?
If the PDFI fail, get testosterone. If the testosterone is low, give these people a trial of at least 3 months of testosterone gel. And try testosterone gel. In case it is low, they would be able to get erections with sildenafil or tadalafil.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, there is one more query on the Facebook. There is no name, I think with the anonymous name this has come. Is natural Shilajit is the best option for the erectile dysfunction? Doctor is asking. Name is not mentioned.
Do you know what is Shilajit? Does anybody know what is Shilajit? I'm really asking you this question. And I ask you this question because nobody knows what is Shilajit, and people think that Shilajit is something which Babaji has gone to the Himalaya to get, and which is the pure Shilajit. Shilajit is a kind of, I would say, chemical which is developed in rocks, which is taken out and is grounded to make Shilajit. Most of the Shilajit in this whole world doesn't exist. It is all, it is not there. And even if you get natural Shilajit, the chances of that being an aphrodisiac is as good or bad as fenugreek or yohimbine. You get what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So ultimately, at the end of the day, they are aphrodisiacs, which if you get fine, they could be tried. I will not say don't try them. But they give a great psychological advantage. They are the strongest placebos. So if a person is taking sildenafil, like the last person you have told me, if you tell him with sildenafil, my friend, take Shilajit, sildenafil will start working.
Thank you so much, sir. So there is one more question from Dr. Aparna Singhal. Dr. Aparna is writing, what antioxidants are you advise and how long?
The market is full of antioxidants.
Yeah.
The market has every kind of antioxidant. And see, what I give to my patients is I give them vitamin E and vitamin C for sure. Vitamin E is and oil soluble, vitamin C is water soluble. I give these patients, if they can, this is what I always give. Now, if the patient can afford, you could give them anything. You could give them lycopene, you could give them CoQ10, you could give them, there's so many, I mean, it's full of, the market is full of that. But what we need to understand is that whatever preparation we give to them, vitamin E and vitamin C, this needs to be given, right? You could give them also zinc, selenium, and folic acid. And along with that, you could also give them methylcobalamin.
Yeah. Astaxanthin. So many.
I mean, so many.
Yeah.
See, whichever representative really cares for you, you start giving that. But please give vitamin E and vitamin C with that.
Yeah.
Because it's very cheap. And no company sells vitamin E and vitamin C. Please understand, because they are cheap. But please give them. That's important.
Thank you so much, sir. So there is one question by Dr. Vandana Gupta. Dr. Vandana is writing, role of provironum in oligospermia.
Please do not give any oral testosterone.
Yes. Now, Dr. Geeta is writing one more question. She want to know for globospermia how to proceed.
See, you have to talk to your patient first, counsel him, get the report done at a good lab, get 2 reports done, confirm the diagnosis, see the viability, talk to the patient if he would like to get done an ICSI done with these sperms and try. If he refuses, go ahead for a donor sperm. If he says yes, after giving the patient antioxidants, do an ICSI and see how things will be.
Thank you so much, sir. There are so many doctors are writing the questions. Can we extend little bit session, Vaibhav? I think we have come. There's so many doctors are writing the questions.
You know, Ritu,
yes, sir.
The last program I had of male fertility, I did it alone.
Yeah.
And you know, the interesting thing is, you were there, of course.
Yes.
The program went on after my lecture for 1 hour.
2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. I was there.
2.5 hours.
Yes,
and I realized in the end that everybody has so many questions to ask.
Yeah.
And I don't, मुझे थकावट नहीं होती.
So nice of you, sir.
और तो तुम्हें पूछने से कोई दिक्कत नहीं होती. And this is your first show, and I would really like your show to be the best show ever. Believe me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, there is one query by Dr. Sushma Bakshi, ma'am. Ma'am is herself is a stalwart. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining. Ma'am is writing, if Tessa fails, if Tessa fails to retrieve the sperms, what will be the next option?
Before we do a TSA or a micro TSA, we have to be very clear. See, first of all, TSA is an investigation to be done only if in an obstructive azoospermia, not in an non-obstructive azoospermia. So you need to diagnose what the patient has and plan before. If the TSA fails, TSA is when you take out from a needle, then you can open up the testes and you could do a micro TSA for this patient. And normally in obstructive azoospermia, in an TSA you get about sperms in 95%, and with TSA it could become to 98%. But in a non-obstructive azoospermia, by a micro TSA, you're able to get sperms in about 30 to 40% of patients of azoospermia. So I think micro T cell would be the answer, Dr. for this.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. So, Dr. Sunita Wadhwani, she is writing, ma'am is writing the question, what antibiotics are to be given for male infertility?
See, the first thing is, when would you like to give antibiotics?
Yeah, depends on the semen culture. I think she's
Yes.
she's
So
right.
would you like to give antibiotics to every patient? Can you hear me fine? Is
Yes, yes. No, voice is clear, sir. Voice is clear.
Right. So it depends on what do you want to give antibiotics for. So if the culture is positive, then you need to understand one small thing. I'm here to teach you whatever I know. You know why? Because the better value you would add to your patients, the more patients will get treated, and the better it's going to be. So what I normally do is that if in the culture I know what needs to be given, great, which I normally do. But if the culture is not there, please give this patient a doxycycline and give the patient a quinolone, and give these drugs for at least 15 days to 21 days. That's what you need to do. Ask the patient to masturbate maximum possible so that semen comes out, and add an antioxidant to this. I hope it's answered your question.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, Dr. Vijay Mangoli is also joined. Thank you, sir, for joining. Sir is writing, Dr. Sunil, which is the most efficient method you have adopted for testing sperm freezing? Could you get equal pregnancy rates with the motile and non-motile sperms post-thaw?
Dr. Vijay, hi. Nice to see you. He's one of, do you know about Dr. Vijay? He was involved, he's such a brilliant man. He was involved in the first IVF of this country.
Yes.
And so nice to have you here. Dr. Vijay, I normally do not vitrify. And what we normally do is the normal freezing, which we would do. But there are a lot of papers which suggest vitrification. The second thing is, as far as pregnancy rate are concerned, one thing is very clear with us, that in case the patient is of non-obstructive aortic, and we've done a micro TC, and with the sperms which we have got, the little number of sperms we've got, we would go ahead with the motile sperm as well as the non-motile sperms. Motile sperms, but this is post-thaw. So post-thaw, the results of the motile sperm and the non-motile sperms, I definitely feel that the results of the motile sperm may be better. May. Though there are such few sperms of these non-obstructive azoospermias that whatever we get is great.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah.
Though we also get a lot of good embryos, or at least fertilizations, with the non-motile sperms.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, I am really obliged. In spite of having such a tiring day, having so many webinars, you joined my show. Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining my show. So I think we have already exceeded the time. So I want to wind up here. Sir, so I want to first of all to thanks Innova Care and thanks to Jindal sir. Sir, आपके लिए मैं 2 लाइनें बोलना चाहूंगी. If you permit.
अरे क्या बात है मैडम, आपने तो मजा कर दिया. क्या बात है.
तो सर गौर फरमाइएगा, ये 2 लाइनें स्पेशली आपके लिए. किस्मत वालों को ही मिलती है, किस्मत वालों को ही मिलती है पनाह दोस्तों के दिल में. यूं ही हर शख्स तो जन्नत का हकदार नहीं होता. यूं ही हर शख्स जन्नत का हकदार नहीं होता. These lines are especially for Jindal sir. Sir has accepted my invitation on a single phone call. So thank you so much, sir. And I want to thank to my sister Shilpa also. As we know, anything is possible when you have the right people there to support you. She is behind this program is a brainchild of her mind. She suggested me to go with this program. And many thanks to Innova Care, Mr. Harish, Mr. Sankalp, and of course Mr. Dipan Verma, the big boss, who has always supported us. And thank you
Thank
all
you.
of the
Thank you.
viewers who have taken out the time this time and joined all of us. Thank you so much. And soon we are presenting with the other show. My other guest faculty is also very renowned, like Dr. Jindal. Next show I am coming with Dr. Asharit Singhani. With the topic is the COVID-19 has been entered in our clinics. So see you soon, friends. Stay tuned. And my very, very warm regards to Anshu ma'am. How I forgot the Anshu ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And आपको एक बात कहूँ, ये ज़हे नसीब, ये किस्मत है हमारी कि आज हम आपके सामने बैठे हैं, दूर बैठे हैं, लेकिन कसम से ऐसा महसूस होता है कि दूर हैं.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir, for being such a lively and very interesting webinar series. And we are going to have this series of very frequently. And ma'am is going to host our session. So thanks a lot. Thank you very much, and thanks all my doctors who have attended today. It's been really honor to hosting you, all of you. Okay, thanks from InnoCare. Thanks from the makers of eDrive C and Jupiter LC. Thank you very much. Good night. Please take care.
Good night. Good night. Thank you.